Hey, it's Vicky, and today I'm here to do a tag video that I make a point to do every December because it's just a fun one to do to sort of wrap up the reading year. And it's called the Book Postscript Tag, and it was originally created by Memento Mori. I will link the original video down below, and I'll also put the questions down there in case you want to do the questions yourself. So let's dive in. So the first question is the longest book you read this year and the book that took you the longest to finish. So if I had finished Under the Dome in this moment, it would be the longest book that I read this year, but I'm not quite finished with Under the Dome. I have, I think, like 200 pages left to go. So I'm not gonna count it because I didn't complete it yet. So the next biggest book that I read in 2024, if I can pick it up, oh my gosh, and it comes in at 793 pages, is, oh my gosh, there we go. The Love Songs of W.E.B. Du Bois by Henri Fannin-Jeffers. I read this one back in February, and it ended up being, it's a 5-star read. It's one of my favorite books that I read this year. Now, the one that took me the longest to read was one I was reading on my Kindle. I just read it recently. It was Everyone on This Train is a Suspect by Benjamin Stephens. It's the second book in the Ernest Cunningham mystery series, and it took me almost 2 months to read that book, and it is not that long of a book. I was just struggling with that book, and I wasn't super motivated to pick it up, so it took me a long time. Question 2 is a book you read in 2024 that was outside of your comfort zone, and for that I'm going to go with A Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston because this was a romance novel, and I don't really read a lot of romance, as you know, but for this, the reason I picked this up was the concept was kind of cool. It kind of centers around a girl who stumbles upon the setting of her favorite book series in real life. So she's like living amongst her favorite characters and everything, and it was just a cool idea. So the book itself ended up being a 3-star book, and this one actually took me a while to get through too, but I enjoyed it, and it definitely was outside of my comfort zone because, again, I don't really read a lot of romance, as you all know. Question 3 is how many books did you reread in 2024? And for that, 0. I didn't reread any books. And question 4 also centers around that. It was what was your favorite reread? And yeah, I didn't reread anything, which is kind of sad. I usually at least have one reread throughout the year, but not this year. Question 5 is a book you read for the first time in 2024 that you look forward to rereading in the future. And for that, I'm gonna go with another 5-star read I had this year, and that is We Used to Live Here by Marcus Klewer. I read this one in October. Was it October? Oh my gosh. Anyways, this was a 5-star book. I absolutely loved this. I feel like it's one of those books that every time I revisit it, I'm going to pick up on things that I missed, you know, the previous go around, because it's definitely a book that is very mind-bending and you're not really sure what's going on, but there's a lot of like context clues throughout that I feel like when I go through and read it again, I'll pick up on things. So I think this will be fun to reread in the future. Question 6 is favorite single short story or novella that you read in 2024. So I read a couple of short story collections in 2024. I read Out There Screaming by Jordan Peele. I read Stephen King's latest book, You Like It Darker. That was a collection of stories. But my favorite that I read was actually a horror novella. I read the book Blanky by, I don't remember what his name is. I will put the book here though, so you will be able to tell who the author is. But this was about a man who is grieving over the loss of his infant, and it was so unsettling. The ending got a little unhinged, a little bit crazy, but I think that it really touched on grief, and like I said, it had some very, very creepy, unsettling moments. Question 7 is Mass Appeal, a book you liked and would recommend to a wide variety of readers. So I kind of have 2 for this. The first one is a nonfiction book I read called Cultish, and I, again, don't remember who the author was. I want to say it's Amanda something, but I'll put the book right here. And I think this one, for a nonfiction book, is really approachable because it just talks about language and how cults use that language to get people to follow them. And she takes a lot of time in the book talking about even like social media and how you could definitely see elements of cult or cult tendencies in even the things that you see and hear on social media. And it was just a really interesting book, and one that I think a wide variety of people could read and get something from. So that was the first one. The other one is one that I think already has major mass appeal for this year, and that is James by Percival Everett. Barnes & Noble, I think, just recently said that this was like their book of the year or whatever. It's been everywhere, and it definitely deserves the hype. It's a fantastic book. I loved it. I gave it 5 stars, and it's one that I think most people, if you picked it up and read it, would like it. So those are my 2 picks for this one. And then question 8 is specialized appeal, so it's kind of on the other end of the spectrum. What book would you, a book that you liked but you would be hesitant to recommend to just anybody? And for that, this shouldn't be a surprise to anybody, I'm gonna go with American Psycho by Bret Easton Ellis. I just read this book in October, or was it November? October. It was October. And yeah, this book is something else. And I gave it 4 stars because I liked a lot of the themes and stuff that were explored. I thought the audiobook was done really well, but this also has some of the most graphic, violent scenes and just awful human beings. There are some really terrible people in this book where I wouldn't just recommend it to anybody. It would have to be somebody that maybe likes horror already, or, you know, that sort of thing. I couldn't just give this to anybody and say, oh yeah, read this, it's great, because I feel like there's a lot of people out there that would not appreciate this book, that would not like this book. So I would be very, very particular about who I hand this book to. And then question 9 is to reflect on your year as a bookish content creator, goals met, good and bad memories, favorite videos you made, etc. And I think this year for me, this was probably the most challenging year as a whole for me. I just had a lot going on in my personal life, and my channel definitely reflected that. I didn't post as much as I usually do. I didn't read as much as I have in, you know, previous years. But I'm not really beating myself up about it because life happened. This year has been crazy in so many ways, and it is what it is, you know? And I appreciate those of you that have stuck around and that still continue to support me and understand that I did kind of have to put this channel on the back burner a little bit this year to just get some stuff done in life. And so I appreciate you guys, and I'm thankful for you guys. And I hope that 2025, I get a little bit more back to business in terms of this channel. I continue to post more regularly, hopefully get to read more now that I'm done with school. I think I'll have a little more free time. Even though I'm going back to work, I still think I'll have a little more free time because some of the homework and stuff in my program was no joke. It took up a lot of my free time. So, but yeah, I think I didn't really have a ton of content this year that was really groundbreaking or different. But I think that's what I like about my channel, and I hope it's what you guys like, is that I'm pretty predictable. I'm gonna put out, you know, my wrap-ups, my TBRs. I have a couple of vlog series that I continue to do that I've been doing for, in some cases, years, that I think you guys like. It seems like you guys like it. And I kind of like that predictability. And I do definitely want to try some new things going forward, but I still like kind of having the same format and, like, you know, posting schedule and things like that. So hopefully this year was kind of a fluke, and we'll get back on track in 2025. All right, so that's it, guys. That's the Postscript Tag. Let me know down below how you would answer some of these questions, or if you are a content creator and you do this tag somewhere, either here on YouTube or on one of the other social media platforms, let me know, because I'd love to go check it out. And I guess that's it. I hope you guys are having a wonderful week, and I will talk with you soon. Thank you so much for watching.